Life is a negotiation, and the masters of wealth play by different rules. Unlock the hidden tactics that turn no into yes and secure unimaginable deals. From the moment we wake up, our lives are a continuous series of negotiations. Whether it's deciding where to eat, asking for a raise, or closing a multi-million-dollar deal, our ability to influence outcomes is paramount. Yet most people approach negotiation as a battle of wills, a zero-sum game where one side wins and the other loses. But for the world's most successful individuals, the titans of industry, the political power brokers, the masters of wealth, negotiation is an art form, a science, and a psychological battlefield where they consistently turn no into yes and secure unimaginable deals. They play by a different set of rules, rules that are often hidden from plain sight. Today, we're going to unlock the secret strategies, the subtle tactics, and the profound psychological insights employed by the world's most successful negotiators. This isn't about manipulation for manipulation's sake. It's about understanding human behavior, leveraging information, and mastering the art of influence to achieve your desired outcomes in any situation. Prepare to transform your approach to every interaction, because once you understand these principles, you'll see negotiations everywhere and you'll be equipped to win. Let's decode the playbook of the masters of persuasion. The first and arguably most overlooked secret strategy is active listening and empathy. Most people enter negotiations focused on what they want to say, their demands, their arguments. The most successful negotiators, however, begin by listening, truly listening, to understand the other party's needs, fears, motivations, and underlying interests. This isn't just about hearing words. It's about discerning the emotions, the unspoken desires, and the hidden constraints. By actively listening, they gain invaluable intelligence. They can identify the other side's best alternative to a negotiated agreement, BATNA, their red lines, and their true priorities. Empathy allows them to step into the other person's shoes, to understand their perspective, even if they don't agree with it. This doesn't mean being soft. It means being strategically insightful. When you understand what truly drives the other side, you can frame your proposals in a way that addresses their concerns, making it easier for them to say yes. It's about finding common ground, even when it seems non-existent, and building rapport that can disarm even the most adversarial opponent. This creates a foundation of trust, which is the ultimate currency in any long-term negotiation. Our second powerful strategy is anchoring and framing. This taps into a fundamental cognitive bias. People tend to rely heavily on the first piece of information offered, the anchor, when making decisions. The most successful negotiators understand the power of setting the initial anchor. By making the first offer, especially if it's a high but justifiable one, they establish a psychological benchmark that influences the entire negotiation. Even if the final agreement is far from the initial anchor, it will likely be closer to that anchor than if the other side had made the first offer. Similarly, framing involves presenting information in a way that influences the other party's perception. In a world that values speed and constant communication, the third secret strategy is counterintuitive: the power of silence and patience. Most people are uncomfortable with silence in a negotiation. They feel compelled to fill the void, to offer concessions, to keep talking. The most successful negotiators, however, use silence as a strategic weapon. After making an offer or asking a question, they remain silent, allowing the other party to process, to feel the pressure, and often to speak first, and in doing so, reveal valuable information or even offer concessions. Patience is equally crucial. They understand that not every deal needs to be closed immediately. They are willing to walk away, to let time pass, to allow the other side to feel the pressure of a missed opportunity. This demonstrates strength, conviction, and a lack of desperation. It forces the other party to reevaluate their position and often leads to better terms. It's about controlling the tempo of the negotiation and letting the other side's discomfort work in your favor. Our fourth strategy involves strategic concessions and the principle of reciprocity. Negotiation is often about give and take. The masters of negotiation understand that concessions are not just about giving something up, they are powerful tools for gaining something in return. They never give a concession without asking for one back, and they make their concessions appear more valuable than they truly are. They might start with a position that has several elements they are willing to concede, but they present these concessions as significant sacrifices. This triggers the principle of reciprocity, the psychological urge to return a favor. If you give me something, I feel compelled to give you something back. They also understand the power of making small, incremental concessions rather than large ones, drawing out the process and making the other side feel like they are working hard for every gain. This creates a sense of progress and mutual investment, even if the overall movement is minimal. It's a dance of give and take, where every step is carefully choreographed to lead to a desired outcome. Fifth, the most successful negotiators are acutely aware of and adept at leveraging power dynamics. Power in negotiation isn't just about who has more money or resources. It's about who has more options, who is less dependent, and who is perceived to have more leverage. They constantly assess the other party's BATNA, best alternative to a negotiated agreement, their walkaway option. If the other side's BATNA is weak, their own power increases. They also understand that power can be situational and can be influenced. They might subtly highlight their own strong alternatives or gently expose the weaknesses in the other side's position. They project confidence and certainty, even when they feel uncertain, because perception is often reality in negotiation. They are not afraid to walk away from a bad deal, knowing that a strong BATNA is their ultimate source of power. This allows them to negotiate from a position of strength, even when their objective resources might not seem superior. It's about understanding the psychological levers of influence and knowing when and how to pull them. Finally, a subtle yet highly effective tactic employed by master negotiators is the art of the nibble and post-settlement settlements. The nibble occurs after the main deal has seemingly been agreed upon. Just as the other party is feeling relieved and ready to finalize, the negotiator asks for a small, seemingly insignificant concession. For example, after agreeing on the price of a car, the buyer might say, "Oh, and can you throw in the floor mats?" Because the other party is already mentally committed to the deal, they are often reluctant to jeopardize it over a small item. This allows the negotiator to gain a little extra value at the very end. Post-settlement settlements take this a step further. After a deal is formally closed, master negotiators might suggest revisiting a few minor points, looking for ways to create additional value for both sides that wasn't apparent during the initial negotiation. This requires creativity and a continued focus on mutual gain, even after the deal is done. It's about maximizing every last drop of value from an agreement without appearing greedy or undermining the relationship. So, the world's most successful negotiators don't just haggle. They strategize, they empathize, they influence, and they master the subtle psychological dance of human interaction. From active listening and strategic anchoring to the power of silence, the art of concessions, and the nuanced understanding of power dynamics, these are the hidden tactics that turn ordinary interactions into extraordinary outcomes. This isn't about becoming a ruthless manipulator. It's about becoming a more effective communicator, a more insightful problem solver, and a more powerful advocate for your own interests. The game of life is a continuous negotiation, and by mastering these principles, you can unlock unimaginable deals, build stronger relationships, and shape your destiny with greater precision. The question isn't if you'll negotiate, but how well. Are you ready to master the art of the deal,